Ladies and gentlemen, do your best to contain your excitement because we have another Ben Simmons video. And I know what you guys were thinking about the last video. Some of you guys felt like that was old news. And I do want to reiterate the reason I made a separate video on it was because Shams Charania came out and gave us an update on Ben Simmons. And whenever Shams Charania comes out and says something, or Woj comes out and says something and confirms a rumor that we've talked about in the past, well, I feel like it's worth making an update to at least inform you guys that what you are hearing about the situation is legitimate. Now, before we get to the content, I just want to let you guys know we're giving away a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X to a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel. Whether you're an old subscriber or a new subscriber, if you sub and hit that notification bell, you will enter for a chance to win a PlayStation 5 in the beginning of August, and we're going to announce the winner on my community tab. If you could also take a moment to smack that like button for the YouTube algorithm, I'd greatly appreciate it. And now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a disclaimer. This rumor comes from a beat writer, and this rumor sounds a little far-fetched and isn't consistent with what we've been hearing in the past, or I don't even think this is something that the Philadelphia 76ers would be interested in. So I'm gonna bring it to you guys, and you could let me know whether or not you think the Philadelphia 76ers would take a bite out of this trade proposal. So we all know the Sacramento Kings are sniffing around the league, trying to look for some way to improve their team. Bear in mind, this is a team that people just love poking fun at for how terrible they truly are at roster construction. Like, it's actually laughable at how many misses they had in the NBA draft, and it's even more comical to see what they do once they're able to hit on a pick. For example, in 2009, the Sacramento Kings drafted Tyreke Evans over the likes of Steph Curry, and for that 1 year, it seemed like it was the right move because Tyreke Evans had a 25-5 season, going for 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists at the very least, and won Rookie of the Year in a draft class that featured James Harden, Steph Curry, Blake Griffin, although Blake Griffin was injured during that season. And then the season after, they drafted DeMarcus Cousins, and well, they tried to make Tyreke Evans play in a different position, and as a result, Tyreke Evans' game fell off of a cliff. It never really worked out with DeMarcus Cousins, and well, speaking of DeMarcus Cousins, let's discuss what they ended up doing with him. Fifth pick in the 2010 NBA draft, ended up being a tremendous player. They would end up trading him for Buddy Hield 7 years later, and I guess in hindsight, because we know DeMarcus Cousins would tear his Achilles, it looks like a good deal, but in our opinions, at least in all of our opinions back then, we felt like they could have gotten more for DeMarcus Cousins. Honestly, those two aren't really that bad, but check this out. 2011, they traded for Jimmer Fredette, and he really didn't pan out. He washed out of the league. They could have drafted Klay Thompson over Jimmer Fredette. 2012, they drafted Thomas Robinson with the 5th pick, literally 1 pick before Damian Lillard. They could have formed a Damian Lillard and DeMarcus Cousins dynamic duo. In 2013, they drafted Ben McLemore, but I'll give them a pass because a lot of the players that were drafted in 2013 were misses, and Giannis Antetokounmpo was a bit of a project, so I don't really hold them accountable for that. And honestly, they did hit on De'Aaron Fox. They did hit most recently on Tyrese Halliburton, and they drafted Marvin Bagley over the likes of Trae Young and, of course, Luka Doncic. Which, speaking of Marvin Bagley, we're going to get to that in just a second because I don't know if you guys have heard, over the year, Marvin Bagley said multiple times that he no longer wants to play for the Sacramento Kings. His dad came out in support of this. Many members of the Marvin Bagley camp don't want to be on the Sacramento Kings anymore. As a matter of fact, Buddy Hield doesn't want to be on the Sacramento Kings anymore either, which means this trade proposal is going to be fairly convenient if you're a Sacramento Kings fan. Now, bear in mind before I tell you what the proposal is, you have to also understand that the Philadelphia 76ers came out and established Ben Simmons' trade value. They literally came out and said that they want an all-star caliber player in return for Ben Simmons. But here's the thing, the Sacramento Kings have been in the NBA draft lottery for the last decade. So I feel like there's a chance, a slight chance, that the Philadelphia 76ers may at least listen to this offer if there are no better offers available for Ben Simmons, especially if you consider the amount of salary cap relief they'd get in return for this. I like the value of this trade, so let me know what you guys think. Check this out. According to Jay Anderson Sac B, which is a Sacramento Kings beat writer, bear in mind, so not a Woj, not a Champs, this is a really deep rumor, scraping the bottom of the barrel with this one. The Sacramento Kings would probably be willing to offer a package that includes Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley III, and one or more future first-round draft picks in a deal for Ben Simmons. This is really interesting because Marvin Bagley has had injury issues, and we still, I guess, in my opinion, we still don't know the type of player Marvin Bagley can be. Very similarly to Ben Simmons, Marvin Bagley has given us very stagnant numbers during his first 3 seasons in the NBA, but the thing is, he's only played in 118 games in his entire NBA career so far, and he started in 52 games in his entire NBA career so far, averaging 14 points, 7 rebounds, a PER of 17.6 throughout his entire career. He's going into a contract year this year, and chances are, at least in my opinion, if things continue the way they're continuing, Sacramento Kings might renounce the man's rights because he hasn't really been a difference maker for them. And clearly it's not working out between him and Luke Walton if he's only getting about 20 minutes per game, unless if they're doing that only to make sure he doesn't injure himself further. But clearly, based off of the frustration between Marvin Bagley and Luke Walton, chances are there's a little bit more to the reason why he doesn't get that much playing time. You have Buddy Hield, who is going to be great for trying to match salary cap with any team, and is definitely a player whose skill set is at a premium in the NBA, a player that could create his own shot, and a player that could shoot the three. Hield attempted 10 3-pointers per game this past year and shot at a 39% clip, but only averaged about 16 points per game, and has a PER of 12.8. Not to mention that statistically, he's not the greatest player on defense, and his box plus minus was at a negative 0.8, but that could also be a product of circumstance. Now, here's the thing. Would the Philadelphia 76ers potentially entertain this offer? And let me know in the comments section down below what you guys think. In my opinion, yes, and here's why. The Sacramento Kings have a history of making terrible, absolutely horrible roster transactions. Now, that was under the Vlade Divac regime. They have a brand new general manager named Monte McNair, and so far, he's done some good work. Drafting Tyrese Halliburton with the 12th pick and drafting what many of us are saying is the steal of the draft is definitely something that should be applauded. But if the trade market for Ben Simmons is barren and the Sacramento Kings approach the Philadelphia 76ers with Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley III, and multiple future first-round picks with top 3 protections around it, those are very valuable draft picks from a team that has been in the lottery for way too long. If you're the Sacramento Kings, you're probably sitting there thinking, okay, we had horrible draft luck up until this past year. We hit on De'Aaron Fox, but we really need that player that we can build around confidently, and Ben Simmons could be that guy. Ben Simmons coming in would make Marvin Bagley expendable. My only questions about this entire situation would be, could Ben Simmons, De'Aaron Fox, and Tyrese Halliburton work on a basketball court? Spacing-wise, does that work out? Do the Sacramento Kings have the ability to improve Ben Simmons' broken jumper? Would they even want to make this trade? If you're a Sacramento Kings fan, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this rumor. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.